All right, good morning, good people, or good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you're watching. I wanted to, I'm going over Kettler again for you, the strategy. And really the reason why is because I want you guys to understand. I guess I need to start showing like a perspective of my first half of the day because I just thought about it really when I'm showing the videos of before, it's kind of like after I'm already done trading for the day. So I'm taking a little bit more risk than I would with like my initial trades, right? So I always tell you guys, all you need is five trades. Realistically, can you get five in a row? No, but I'm trying to find a method because like I said this is something that I'm going to be doing full time at some point. So I don't want to be over risking all the time. I have to take in consideration that every day may not be a good day, and if I'm losing, I want to control those losses. So I think I got something figured out where it's steady and it makes sense and it's comfortable, on both sides. Because coming in and trading hundreds of dollars just flat out, it can be disastrous. I mean, trust me, I've been there. I mean, you can get it back, but it's just like I don't know if I would still be doing that if this was like my only income. So it's comfortable to do right now because it's like I got a job, so who cares? If I lose this, I can afford to, and I can afford to get it back. But when that's not an option anymore, I'd have to kind of be more realistic with myself and kind of control myself on how I do this. Um, mm, so I'm gonna have a lot of changes. Okay, I mean, like I said, it's a journey. It's not gonna be something that I'm just putting it out here so you guys could be a part of it and hopefully start your own. So we can all meet up one day and be on somebody else's plane because I'm cheap. I mean, I shouldn't even say plane, but boat. I always make the boat joke. So, let's get to it. I'm gonna just go through today is October 9th. And I'm sorry I didn't catch these from the very beginning, but I thought about it later to record and show you guys. So I'm gonna go over um some Kettler opportunities. I'm not showing anything else, even though I do more than that, but I'm just showing you the Kettler channel because I want you guys to see like the ideal situation, not the more riskier version that I don't know, I've been showing on some of these videos. So I'm gonna show you the more ideal situation so it's all clear and you guys know really what to look for. And again, the goal is five. You're looking for five consecutive wins. So, and honestly, I talked to you about compounding your earnings. Um, Compounding your earnings is fine depending on how you do it. To me, I came up with a method when I was showing you guys. I don't remember the numbers per se, but it was like start off doing 20, 20, 20, then do 25, 25 for the last two. If you're compounding each way, um, like I said, to get five in a row isn't always going to be a real thing. So what you end up doing is doing a lot more trades than what you need to because if you're compounding and you do 25, 50, 75, you get to 100, then you blow the 100, now you're starting back over, right? So to me, what I've been doing now is just kind of keeping it at a consistent number and gradually increasing that number over time. So if I'm doing 30, I'll do 37 times. If I'm at the 40 level, I'm doing 47 times. And to me, it's easier to recover because if I do 43 times, I miss one. Okay, I'm back down to two. So now I can get two more, be back to four. And depending on how the day goes, I'll go with five. Or if it's really going well, I'll go up to seven. I'm sure if I have seven in a row, I generally try to stop, or use that overage, or withdraw and then use overage and play with that. But to each his own. All right. So enjoy the video. I got a few of them that I participated in, and I have some that I missed because I was on the phone and I was too late to jump in. But I still wanted to show it so you can see, the ideal situation. So let's get to it. And I want to tell you, before I forget, when you're doing, so no one uses, I don't want to say no one. Typically speaking, two or three strategies are ideal when you're trading. Like, so for me, I have like this process. This is my one, right? The second one that I typically would use would be based on support zones. So if I'm near like and that's why I use my edited version of the oscillator, but I have 93 and 5. Now this can change based on the chart, but as you can see, and this is just me talking, sorry. But as you can see with this blue and I'm assuming yellow color lines, it reaches that 93. From there, it bounces off. So I edited basically to the top point and the low point. So I know that, hey, if it touches that again, chances are it's going down. Now, normally by default, it goes 80/20. But like that's signs of it, once it goes past 80, it's chances that it'll curve out. But I want, when I'm playing that role, I want to know exactly when it's going to bounce, and I wouldn't enter to go into a sale if I'm talking to blue line unless I know it touches that blue line and it's giving me like that energy that it's about to retrace. Okay, but you also have to be careful because you want proof, like you want prior history of that happening. If it's the first time it happened, it could be doing that. It could dip down and then shoot back up. Okay, and on trades like that, you have to know how to count the chart. So like I said, I'll try to go over that with you when I get this thing out the way. I just wanted to talk about that, and like I said, that'll be my second method. The third method is catching it on the up and down, and that's kind of like based on how I was initially trading. If you go back to some of the first few videos where it crosses the yellow and you got one form candle, and as it's increasing and decreasing, it's more so a gut feeling. So that's why like that's my third option because it's like I mean, I don't want to say it's a guess, but I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's not really, I mean, you're going the right direction, but you're clicking it when you have that feeling that it's going to go back up. And you really get that sense from really just experience, man. So it's like, it's cool. Like I said, it was some of the first videos that I was showing. But it's not something that I would be comfortable teaching because it's not really, it's not really teachable. It's something that you have to do and practice. So, I'm not going to delay. Let me get into the video. Sorry. So now, see, and this is an example of one um, that I can tell you now is showing signs of. If I was here on time, then I would have did a sale. I'm just telling you this for right now, so I know this isn't what the move is on this one, but I'm just going over this with you. So you have, if you came in on time, right, you would have saw this here. So they see the oscillator touch the top. You have one oscillator touching the top. I shouldn't say the oscillator, price point touching top. You got a second one, and you got a third one, which symbolizes this area, and then that area, right? So essentially, it broke through a zone and is creating a new zone, right? So do you just blindly enter as soon as it touches top? No, you wait to see what the next candle is. And the key thing is here is, do I have like adequate information to let me know like, hey, if I enter in, so if you remember some other videos, I was like entering at the third candle. So third candle being, so you have the arrow for the first one, second one being this neutral, and then the third one would be somewhere on this third candle, right? So you would have hopefully entered in as a sale. And like what I was showing you guys before, in terms of account by default, I generally go 25 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. I hate doing a minute because I feel like it's just too long. It's I'm used to doing 5 second trades, so doing a minute just seems like a lifetime. But essentially, that you're going to base your timing off of what you see before. So if you're looking at a peak point, like you see in this first arrow, you're counting. Hey, if I got in on a third candle, how long does it stay under that candle for me to know like, hey, this is official? So you count about 30 seconds, give or take. Then you do the next one, another 30 seconds is underneath the next one, under another 30 seconds. So that's kind of where you get that information on what you're going to do in terms of or how long you're going to place that trade. If you do a minute, you may run into a situation where it taps you out at the minute. So a minute could be too long, 15 seconds could be too short. So base it on what you have before off of previous high points. Okay. Now the only issue with this one is you have really ugly information. So you have this one is good, and this was the last one because again, it's reflecting based off of this area when it really just kind of stayed in the same area before it took off. So in real time, if I would have done this, this would have been one that I've done, and I would have cut whatever, if I'm doing 30, I think I was doing 30 today. I would have cut it to like maybe 10, okay, 10, 15. And that way, if I miss, I don't care. I would never trade, this at a whole number because I just, like I said, this is my number two process. Okay. So consider that, when you're going down your realm of different strategies, how confident you are in those strategies, change the numbers. Okay. If you're catching peaks and jumps, like, because there's a lot of peaks and dips and all that stuff, you can knock out, maybe three quick trades at 5 seconds, but do a smaller amount, so that if you get two and you miss the last one, okay, it's not a big deal. So now you have extra money. And like that's how I try to explain it. So you give yourself extra cushion. That's what it's all about. All right, so let me actually go into the trade. I'm talking too much, sorry. But I want to make sure I'm giving you guys a good perspective on all this stuff. So let's get back to what we were doing. So ideally, when you're looking to enter these trades, you are looking for something that looks like this. Okay, so I know this is forming in real time, so sorry. So that's the first thing. I'm gonna let this ride out first, and I'll go back into it. Okay, so you're looking for something. Let me just scroll back just a little before those numbers get on there. Okay, so you're looking for a couple things. All right. So let me go in order here, and I'm gonna do it in green. All right. So I'm looking at when it touched this 90. So when you're doing this process that I'm showing you, I want you to make sure that it touches either the high point or the low point. Now this is going to require you to change that number. Okay. Depending on, yeah. If you're using a regular one, you have to go and click this edit button here. Okay. And go to style and you can change the number. Okay. What that number is, it can vary. All right. It's just like you may go to one chart, it may be higher, it may be lower. Like I said, each chart is going to talk to you and give you a story. So you have to plan your strategy around what the chart is telling you. So even like with this process that I'm showing you, if I didn't have proof of this working, I wouldn't get involved, right? So what I mean by that is a qualifying trade would be me seeing that, okay, we got one, two, and three before it continues up. I don't know the time. So all I'm looking for is that it's in the same area. What I'm wanting to make sure it doesn't do is something like this. So even though this wouldn't qualify because that third one turns red, again, we want majority of the candle in the if we're so this is all showing buy. So essentially, this is what you're looking for, actually, perfectly right here. So this set right here is what you would need to see. Okay, but the key thing is you are wanting to see something like that, obviously, in a situation where you have the cross right here, and it needs to be near, like in this area somewhere. It has to be kind of in on this side of things. If it's too far out, it may fake you out. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so all these kind of line up perfectly if you get what I'm saying. So whatever you see up top, it just shoots straight down. If you're using your live chart, you'll see it. What I'm talking about. You can move the arrow to touch a certain price, and it'll create a vertical line where you can see exactly what's going on. And you may be able to see it on my screen as I'm cycling around, but I think my finger's hovering over the sell at this time. So, or it's not anymore because I already said, please make sure you don't press it more than once accidentally out of excitement. Okay. So what I'm looking for when I'm talking about a perfect situation, I'm only going to repeat this one time so we don't keep going over the same thing. I'm looking to make sure that that I have touches on the top end for this case. So I got a touch here. I do got a touch here where it dips down. It's a weak dip, but it touches. And then this will be the final one. So I have two examples really. This one would be the real time. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm seeing it as it's shown. I'm sorry. So I have three ways where it's touching and it's retracing. So I just want to make sure I'm giving it that opportunity to do the full, you get what I'm saying? The full deal. All right. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you're looking for crosses, clear crosses. So clear crosses from one extreme to the next and just see what it's doing. Okay. So again, these all line up as you know, they line up straight. I can't do a straight line, sorry, but these aren't obviously these are ugly. This wouldn't be something that you would get into, right? Because it never gets to that bottom point and then it goes back up, but then it does down here. And if you clicked on it, you may have got it, but this wouldn't. This would be too late. So this area would be way too late to do for your first few trades. Okay, so please stay away from that zone. You want it to be a little bit closer. You want it to be really closer to this half. Okay. So please know that. Don't just jump into everyone that crosses. It's cool to do that with your extra money because it could work out. As you can see, this probably could have worked out. I don't know. But when you're talking your initial, do not do it. The second ones that you don't do are kisses. All right, back away, right? You know, stay away from the smooches. That's this area. So did it work out? It could have worked out. That's fine to do in a situation, again, where you have extra. But when you are working with your first few dollars and you haven't had any, you know, success on a day, we're looking for the best 7 opportunities. And it's really not that hard to find it. So also I want you to peep this time. I think this says the 13th hour. So this is 1 o'clock. I think this is 13. Yeah, the 1 o'clock. I thought I showed. I thought I. Oh, I'm sorry. I traded earlier. 11 o'clock ish a.m. is a good time to trade, in my opinion. I didn't record it though. But that's where I started around that time. So sorry, guys. But anyway, so you guys get that. So we're looking for ideal situations like you see in the green. All right, so I got proof that it shows that it's going to retrace. I allow it to do its full scoop because what I want it to do is come down hard because I only have 5 seconds and I want to make sure that that 5 seconds is fulfilled. All right, so after with those in mind, so you got that area, and then I'm sorry I didn't get over here. You got another clear cross. So you see how this looks. You got green consecutively growing, to red that is consecutively shrinking and crossing over perfect. That's exactly what you want it to look like. And if it looks like that, chances are you'll have more success than not. Now, I know I talked to you guys about staying out of if it breaches the zone, it's more risky. Like, I don't know. You know, you have to do what you got to do. Hey, if you stay out of everything, you're going to be too scared to get into anything. And like I said, if it's just it's still chances that it can go in your favor. It's just that what I look for, and let me backtrack to see if it actually did it, because I didn't recall seeing any like crazy movement with those first 2 candles. But with the ones that I stay out of are like the ones if it's like doing a lot of jump. So you see how it's going down, yeah, so that's jumping. This one is just going down kind of smooth. And so this process was based on me starting at the first breach. Okay. So I did that because I had nice strong candles. I don't want to hesitate. I know, like I said, you can do especially with all of this matching up as it is, you can jump in at that point comfortably. If you're going to be the type that wants to wait for the 3 full candles, you can do that, but you may miss the motion with that much like pressure, and technically you wouldn't have. So if you're looking at the time, remember the where it's clicked right now showing that $57, that's the 3 second mark of the previous one. So if I did another 3 seconds, you see it would have worked anyway. Okay. So hopefully you guys see that it works. Regardless, I just wouldn't recommend it. The only reason I jumped into that one is because I felt like it was going to overturn at some point because it already like did a big dip. Okay. So we're gonna keep this one rolling here. And what I want you to know, support zones, right? So if I was to want to take another dip at this, I would jump in at a buy. All right, so that just moved. I'm sorry, you guys see it though, right? So I would jump, so it's here. This is the new line. I would have jumped in at a buy right there for 25 seconds. That's just a good safe time. I didn't, not yet, obviously, it hasn't got to that point. So I would have jumped in right there. So it's first blue candle, Okay, jumping in, that would have been my buy opportunity. I didn't do it because I'm trying to just do my channel. So again, if I'm working on the channel, I'm working on the channel for right now. Let me show you again. All right, so hopefully you guys get it. But if you see the zone is, I can't see that. The zone is right above this one. Okay, so that's the zone, and that's lined up with here. Okay, so if it, like I say, you don't want to be too premature and press it as soon as it goes down there on the sale, right? You want to see that it's coming back up. So once it touches that area, you got to be quick to press it. Now I'm not doing that for my second trade. That's like a, at the end of the day type thing. But if I did 25 seconds, I guess we can see how it worked out. Remember, each of these are 5-second candles, and that would have activated at the first green. 5, 10, 15, 20. We got to be at 25 now. If not, we'd be at 25 at this one. So that would have worked as a second jump in, but again, I'm sticking to my strategy. Okay, so you guys see it, it's doing the same thing where it's doing that quick climb. So, hey, do I want to jump in right now? There we are. I did. So I allowed, so that this one, y'all saw what it did, right? It tried to screw me over, which happens. This one is touching, just so that you know. All right. So I'm gonna erase the zone thing because you saw how the support zones work. Okay. And if you can see, also it did me wrong. Um, as I know I pressed that faster than that. Trying to tell you guys, get your video games up. Don't make fun of me. Who cares? It helps you with your reflexes. But that 3 was further down, as you can see. It's just it caught it up there. All right, so I don't know, but it worked out. All right, now obviously, if it would have hit activated where I wanted it to, it would have been a lot better of an activation. But either way, it still worked. And what do you see? What do you see again? So we're gonna do it in green again. So, in terms of, I may have to back it up. Hold on, let me back it up for you. Back it up, back it up. It's the only time I back it up. All right. Anyway, so as you can see, touches near bottom, and then this has exceeded the point of these ones, right? Oh, to the left. So this is going past the ones from the bottom. So I have two situations where it's gone up. Again, I don't care how much it's gone up. I just want to see that it is shooting up and that it has. So the second one, the second green arrow, I feel a little bit better than the first, but I know that it has gone up. So I know there's a chance of that, which is why, I would have done the buy deal anyway for the support zone. But I was sticking to my guns today. I could have did a two-piece on this one, and I guess been done sooner, but whatever. But again, you saw the first one activate and the second one activated. You got this perfect looking situation here where it's not that perfect, but it's going red to green shrinking and then it's growing back into a red. Do I care about it being over at this point? No, I don't because I'm taking that chance. But because it is doing that, I'm activating it on that because of that first candle that touched. So I didn't do the 3 bars in that area, but I guess if you want to look at it for the sake of science, we can see if it would have worked out. So I don't like this count. So let me do that. Let me look at it 3 over. So what's that? So that's so one. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Now see, I'm feel like something not right here. Hold on. Wait. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So 1, 2, 3. So I did miss it. Okay, I'm sorry. So I did do it on I did it on the traditional 3. I'm sorry. I meant to maybe, like I said, working, you tweak. So I did it on the traditional 3. So I got 3 formed on the top end. It did work traditionally. If I did the touch one, let's see how that would have fared. So it's there. I can't really see exactly where it's at, but it's kind of like right there. Okay. So let's see if, and three. Esther, yeah, so it would have activated anyway. So yeah, it would have activated anyway. Again, we're looking at the very top part of that white spot. At the 3 second mark, you would have got it. If you were a little bit delayed in the 2 seconds, you would have it would have went off where it's at right now, like how mine did. So both methods, like I said, doing the premature and the traditional work. Do I have a favorite of the two? Really, the three over I like more because I can catch it a little bit faster. It's hard to keep eyeing this thing sometimes, especially in real time, because I mean they touch the middle a lot. So sometimes it's good to have a good a good thick indicator like that candle to show like, hey, it's time to get busy. All right. So I'm gonna keep going on with some more examples. I know I had to stop here because I got busy working. So nothing else happens here, but I'm sure if I stuck with it, it would have probably came back down. So just as you can see, it's a support zone here, but it never reaches. So you probably wouldn't have gotten involved. All right. So if it doesn't go to it, you wouldn't force it, all right? And you wouldn't, I wouldn't recommend jumping in. I wouldn't recommend trying to like catch things on the way up and down all the time. Not with options trading. It's too risky. If you do, just like I said, protect your earnings. Don't go in putting in whatever your regular trade amount is, all right? So that's the beauty of it. All right, guys. So note the time. I forgot what up the other time was. I guess you can play it back and see. All right. So I'm splitting these videos up, but this is 14:09. So we're at 2:09 Central. Again, this is a 24-hour clock. And already, what am I seeing here? Actually, is this one that I was able to get into, or one that I just showed you? But I can tell you, like I said, I'm not going to go over everything. But again, you want clear, clear activity. All right. Um, I don't know if this is one that I was able to get involved in. I think it's one that I saw late. Oh no, I didn't. I did get involved in this one. Okay, so that's good. That makes it easy. All right, so let me, and as you can see, I tweaked and I had it on the wrong time. Sorry. So had it on 15 seconds. So this is it should have been 25, but I think it worked out better this way. Um, but I wanted to show, I'm sorry, I didn't want to show anything outside of process here. Let me see. One, two, trying to get it. All right, so technically speaking, this is where you would activate if you're doing an early bird special. And actually, let me notate where that was so we could just see how it worked. And then all right, so right there. So kind of like on the top of this blue part. Okay. I'll say that because the chart is going to shift as I play the video. Cleared. Yep, so it would have cleared there. Um, so I know it shifted, but again, remember it's at the top of this blue right there, not this one. So so that would have worked traditionally, and I'm gonna just verify. Yep, okay. I just want to make sure I'm not lying. Don't want to think I'm lying to them. So it's just two. Yeah, okay. That the camera shifting sometimes, or the screen shifting sometimes throw me off. So I just wanted to make sure it was on the three and I'm not looking at the wrong blue area. So this would have worked using a traditional. Um, what you're noticing, like I said, again, and I have this thing in a way. Goodness, hold on, let me move this so you can see all of the chart. Fun stuff, right? All right, go down, move out the way. Okay, there we go. So we got one point here where it touches the bottom and climbs up, which is this one. Okay. The problem with this one is where it does cross, there's no, it wouldn't have, you wouldn't have activated here. All right. So you got two clear, two, well, yeah, one good one, one good candle If you're doing an early bird special, you got one good candle, two good candle, but the third one sinks down to the danger zone, so you wouldn't have activated. Okay, so that one is a waste. And then it goes shoots downward. So this is giving you a straight downward trend. So you shouldn't be doing any sales. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be looking to just buy automatically. So then the sale part comes an option, but you don't have one that looks like what I was telling you, right? And this is ugly. This whole area is ugly. So we're not doing this. Okay. So again, you're looking for big activity, big changes like this. Okay. So the first one that you see is the issue where I would stay out of it for my initial is because the cross is here and the action takes place. Yeah, it would have taken place all the way here. Okay, too far to the right. Okay, so you don't want to be yeah, you don't want to be too far from the action. Okay, so for sake of safety, like I said, if you're doing initial trades, you stay out of this one. All right, now if you would have done it, this is a qualifying trade, could have worked out, but for the sake of like I said, just starting off fresh and working with your starting money, you don't want to do that. Okay, the second one is actually a good one. The second half, I should say, is a good half. So you have downward action. The only issue is that it hasn't crossed yet. So it doesn't really cross till here. So if you're following method, you wouldn't jump in. If you had using extra money, this would have been a decent one to get into, only because you have a nice change. The only problem is the cross is too late. So by the time that the cross actually takes place down here, the down at the bottom in the MACD, you would have already been past your three candles. So you wouldn't force it, right? So what you could have did, if you see, you do have some sort of zone here. So you would just try to gauge, hey, am I going to go for a buy or sell? And hopefully by looking at this, you would see that a sale would be in order. Okay. And how long do we sell? Like I said, 25 seconds is good for me. So again, what you don't want to do is just jump in as soon as it touches. You just want to see what happens first. So you expect a little kickback like it did in this area. So when you jump in, assuming a sale, you want to allow it to go up some before you go back down. It's very risky because it could go back up and like it did the time before. But like I said, that's the game, man. That is the game. You have to go based on what it's telling you. The MACD is telling you sell energy. So again, it's just hey, when it touches this area, and really it touches that area on that second like neutral candle, you give it 25 seconds, which would be 5, 10. You can't see these, I'm sorry. Which would be 5, 10, 15, 20, and then it will tap out at 25, which would be the second green candle. So that is how you work support zones. Okay. But anyway, back to the main dilly that we're talking about. Yeah, I said it. So anyway, okay, so yeah, so we have one area where it touches and shoots up. I'm not counting that middle area. So we got one area where it's showing that it touches and shoots up, and then it's touching down here, and it's about to shoot back up again. And then I have this beautiful mess over here, which you can see here, okay, because this part hasn't formed yet. I mean, I know I clicked it, but it hasn't technically formed yet, right? So, let me see how far, well, yeah, I already showed you where it would have activated if you did it normal. And I'm sorry, I put it in as a buy because I knew it was going to continue going upward, but I meant to do 25 seconds. So you guys saw the process and just disregard what this was because I wasn't trying to show you this. And I don't want to take it out because it's a good example of how to work those zones. Okay. So, should have been, like I said, 25 seconds, not 15, but when you're rushing and multitasking, you make those stupid mistakes and it happens. But as you can see, more time too much time could be harmful. All right. I don't know how it resulted in 25 because I just changed it. So, maybe it worked out for the best. Stay out of these ones. Those are weak. Should not give you anything. Just trying to find stuff. Remember OTC. So once I see big old, big old, big old channels and a lot of zigzag, I'm interested, right? So again, I'm looking for opportunities. And what is this showing me? What kind of energy am I seeing that tells me that, hey, my process has worked before? I have a qualifier here. But is it down here? No. I got one here, but doesn't go to the top. So the only one that I can rely on at this point, unfortunately, is, and I probably shouldn't do these out in white, so let me erase these. The only one that I can rely on is this. So I have one example, which is here, where it touches the top, and then it continues to go down in a consecutive direction with strong candles. And as you can see, you got one, two, three, unless you want to do the traditional and start at the next, push everyone over. Regardless, that's a qualifying event. So I have a history of seeing that, hey, it works out, right? So I'm interested, right? So we got um, we got this beautiful mess here to let me know that it's good, and we got another beautiful mess starting up, all right? So we got consecutive reds, growing and then turning into greens that are descending and then growing again to larger greens on the top end side, right? I got my cross. My cross is not too far off from where I'm at right now. All right, that's the key thing. It's not that far off. Now, yes, I'm touching the top. Yes, I'm touching the top, but based on what I see here, I know it has room for wiggle. Now, do you want to do these ones all the time? No. Okay. Being honest, but like I said, I'm already up on the day, so I can get a little bit, like I said, I'd rather be finished so I can move on with life than, keep trying to find the most perfect. Everything ain't gonna be always perfect. So that one was a late push, which is fine. And because it's at the top and it's curving, um, that's probably why I did a late push, a more late towards the 2 second and 3 seconds, just to see if it was going to push all the way down. But I'm not going to hold it off too long. And boom, 5 seconds, as you can see, good to go. All right, so showed you a few ways where you could have did this. I don't know. I didn't touch on this, or did I? I don't know. I don't think I touched on the support ones with this one. So if you're trying to get an idea, you got a zone here. And again, it's touched areas. So you got one, two, and then you got a breach here where it then revisits. So again, if you're going to, if you're you're not going to assume that it's going to go downward for this because this is ugly. All right. So remember the breach took place actually right here. Okay. So you're not going to assume that that's going to breach. Um, you're not going to assume. You're not going to make that assumption that's going to keep going down, and by the time you do, you may mess yourself up. Who knows? Again, it's about 25 seconds, or you do 15 seconds. I really don't recommend any shorter time frame. It just doesn't make sense for that for a support. If you're doing the support and resistance deal, okay? Because things happen. But if you're going to go and with the buy this time, you would be right to do so because this is showing confusion. Okay, so this is around this area, right? So when you see this and you see, hey, it's starting to descend in the green, or I'm sorry, starting to ascend in the green, you know that there's a chance that this is going to go back into the zone, which makes sense because zones are tested. It breached you, but sometimes it comes back. So if you were going to do that, you would have jumped in as soon as that blue candle formed somewhere in that area. If you did 25 seconds, I mean, you can count and see that that would have worked. Okay. That is how zones work. I do recommend those more so for weekends because weekends are a little bit slower. And there's less opportunity for crossovers especially if you're talking like later on in the night. Okay. So, just food for thought. All right, so I think I have one more to show that is actually me trading. I think the other ones I just kind of missed because I was actually working. So, but because I was recording and I left the record, I generally leave the recorder on so I can see, just catch other strategies and things. But and also make sure that mine is still consistent. Sake of science, right? For the sake of science. But let's go into it. And just be careful with NZD. It moves around quite a bit. So just know that like certain currency pairs move around a little bit more wild, and that process may not be that effective in those situations. So as you can see for this situation, I'm gonna stop. Let me stop it actually on the activation. Right there. I'll stop it right here for now. Um, I have one major event where it touched bottom and shot back up. This would be the second. So since I have an example of it happening in my actual sight, line of sight, so please don't if you're this again, these are 5 second candles, so please don't go scrolling all the way back to see activity. You can't do that. It doesn't apply well for 5 seconds. Okay, so you should be able to see everything on one screen. If you don't, then don't do it. All right. Again, you don't want to be the first to try. So if all of this, let's just say everything was slithering across the bottom, and then it starts to shoot up, I don't want to get too involved with that with my first part of my day trades. Like at the end of the day, and I'm just messing around with extra money. Who cares? Win or lose, whatever. But not when I haven't like reached my goal yet, right? So, yeah. So activates. Let me make this thing move. Okay, there we go. So this is a clear cross, kind of ugly, right? Because it's ugly, as you can see, this is ugly. This doesn't, you wouldn't have activated here, but that's fine. It's not the best example to use for a reason why I would trade, but at this point, I'm kind of like over it. Another thing I'm looking at is the zone. Okay. So this part, so I use process, right? But I also look at zones. So as you can see, zone is not one particular area, it's or one particular price point. It's the area. So you see that white area that I just created there. Essentially, it touches this area 3 times. Again, this cluster here is counting one. I don't do that, counting each one. Okay, that's tedious. So it's touched in one area, two area, and three area. The third time it broke through. Okay. So then now it's returning. So now that same support floor has become a ceiling and it breached through. So typically when it does that, it's going to continue through. Okay. How high? I don't know. This is probably not the best area to play around with because this is a very short ceiling, right? Um, so I wouldn't recommend just like doing support and resistance trading when you have small areas like that, just FYI. But the only reason I felt some sort of good about it is because it went over the prior and the oscillator. Okay. So all these decisions, unfortunately, have to be made in split seconds. Okay. But as you can see, a lot of this is support and resistance. Outside of that, we have a cross. This is not the best looking such situation, but it is a mini version of it. Okay. So I respect it, right? So remember before they were big and bold like this, right? This is tiny, but it's fine. I can get away with it. If I miss one, oh well. At this point, I'm over. I'll just stop trading for the day. But it is what it is, right? So, activate. What were we at? So, what's this? The one, two, three, third candle. And I think because of my situation with that curving at the end, as you can see, I think this is the one that I delayed. Yeah, I had to because this is the last one. Oh, sorry. I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking at the wrong one. Here we go. So this is the 3 second mark. This is where I should have clicked it. But because I mean it's pointing upward, but because there's a short ceiling, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't about to shoot back down like crazy. So I delayed it a little and it activated. Like I said, you delay it on a late two or late three. I'm sorry, not early three. All right, but that's that, right? So, I think at this point I stepped away, but I was getting like good info. So I'm gonna try to speed this up because this is about 5 minutes of me snoozing and doing whatever. I saw another opportunity. So I always record. That's the good thing about having a laptop because you can record what's going on. Doing it on your cell phone, you don't have that luxury. So when you run into these situations where you're catching like these opportunities, you can't take advantage of like that going back and looking at the video to be like, hey, would this work? You can't do that. So, I thought I saw something here. I'm gonna speed it up, but just to discuss this, this is ugly. And I'm already past yeah, I already passed it. So, sorry, that's just me tweaking. So let's go to the next bit. And sorry, this wasn't the last one apparently. Hold on. Yeah, I think what I do? Fall asleep? I must have fell asleep or something. I'm playing, not really. But, um, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I cut that out. So nothing there to see. It was just, sorry, that's me and my editing. I'm trying, I'm trying. So this is the next one. Let me just let it activate so that thing can get out the way. Oh, there we go. All right. So, you can see another process, another win, right? So what do we see? All right, we see we have prior history, touches up top, and it's near the top. Well, it's near the top now. I'm sorry. Let me back up some. Let's go back to where it was when I activated. Okay, so near the activation, we're near the top. It still has to curve. Generally, it's not going to run straight when it's curving. It's going to go up some. So again, 5 seconds is all I need. Good thing is on this one, I have a touch. So again, this isn't the best look because it's very small looking, but we got greens ascending or descending, or no, they're ascending, and then it's going downward into a red, which then descends further into red and curves out to the green. So you got a beautiful area right here, which is this right here. Could you have taken advantage of this? No, because it's too late. If you did, you would have. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't. You have this cluster here, so if you were to try to jump in, this third one would have told you not to. So then you would have jumped in here, where then it would have worked. But if you're following a process, this is way too late. All right. So you're too far away from, you're in the danger zone over here. Okay. So it wouldn't be ideal for traditional, but if you got extra money and you don't care, you would have had it. Right. So with that said, doesn't mean, hey, everyone that you're showing me is working. Trust me. That's just because of sheer luck, maybe. I don't know if you do it and you're basing all your trades on that, you may not be so lucky. Okay, again, this is about the 7 best opportunities, or 5 if you just want to shoot for 5, or whatever your goal is. Okay, but again, I got that area, that first area that I just showed you, right? Showing a clear cross and it going downward once it hits that line. And then on the back end, I don't have anything too good outside of this one showing and this one, right? Now, these don't really qualify in this area at all, so that's fine. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is it going up after it touches the bottom. So this area, it's showing that it is. I mean, if you want to count this one, technically it is, but I'm looking at the one where it touches and it bounces up, and now it's touched the second time and it's curved out for a little while, and now I have really it starts here. So now I have red descending, turning to green descending, then going upward to ascending green, and I'm not too far off from the crossover. Okay, I'm not that far off. I'm like pushing it, but I'm not that far. Okay, so I mean, you saw how it played out. So these are, like I said, probably not the best opportunity that you would look for, but it's looking like this because of the time of the day. As things slow down, these candles start to get a little bit weaker. and this is what you can expect. Now, during the beginning of the day, yeah, it's more volatile. So with that said, each period of the day that you're trading, you need to be when you when you're first starting off, honestly, you need to demo whatever periods of time that you think you have to trade and see what strategy works best for those times. Because support and resistance may not work out, early in the daytime based on how I do it. But nighttime could be beautiful for you. So this is three there. Let me see. And that would be a qualifying, yeah. So that's tapped out. Good. So that would have been successful. All right. In terms of what you see, it's no longer visible anymore, but it touched top, went down. This one touched top. This could have been one that I jumped in, but I didn't. If you don't believe me on the time, I don't mind showing you. That's why I record. So, um, oh, perfect. This is the three. So if you're doing the version like I told you guys, if you're doing the, as soon as it touched midpoint, this would have been where you entered. Um, as you see, it hit. And I guess we can see if the other one method you would have jumped into. So remember, this is where it would have cashed you out right there. So you would have been underneath, as you can see, where your initial 3 seconds was, where you should have entered. And then the next third second would have been, yeah, you would have lost. All right. So yeah, if you did traditional, you would have lost. Um, But like I said, it's not perfect. So right, so you have strong candles. It's in a good area, but it just would have missed. Okay, you got your money back? Yeah, you could have, right? So I already clicked it. Sorry. So we moved on. So it's fine. So as you see, like I said, it's not going to be perfect. Things happen, but it's about probability and having that chance. All right, I think this is another one that he clicked on. I don't know if I was able to activate or if I walked away from it, but at this time, at some point today, I just got too busy and I got frustrated. So this one looks good. The problem is the candle sucked. So you wouldn't have jumped into that because that last third one is too short. If you were using like the rush method, if you're using a traditional, you would have jumped in. This would have been a good buy opportunity. Or no, it's not. I'm sorry. Nope, it's not even crossed. So take that back. Um, Yeah, so this, I think I showed this one. Why did I show this one? I think I showed this one to show you like a pump fake. I kept these for a reason. Yeah, because I kept looking for stuff and missing it and then seeing things, and I'm like, they could probably use this. Let me show this one. I think this, yeah, so it's going back up. You got one, you got two. I think this, I got on the phone again, I think. I tell you, my phone rings at the worst time. Um, so disregard. Yeah, I am. Okay, so yeah, so essentially, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see what I was trying to show you. I was trying to go over zones, but I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to do that. Um, it's kind of, I might as well. I'm here. So essentially, with the zones here, again, remember, you don't want to wait too long with these zones. You just want physical touches. So remember, you want a one, and you want to try to activate on the second one if everything lines up. Now, I'm showing this one because now I remember. Your second point doesn't reach the top point. So I wanted you guys to see this because when you see these situations, I don't want you to jump in because the zone is showing here. I want you to also respect the fact that hey, this means it can go further up. Okay? So so don't fall for that. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out why I showed these videos, but it had nothing to do with that. So that's that. Um And then in terms of, I mean, I don't think I let it play out anymore, but this was a ceiling here. So if you're looking at a new floor, you got one, and then you got two. I think this, yeah, this went back down, so it was a waste of time. But if this climbed back up, and everything was making sense. So in this case, it's giving me buy. So I would look to do a buy if it looks the same as it's, this is shooting upward. And if this hasn't reached here, but if this touches in this area, I'm going to start looking for candles to change colors and then aim back down. Okay. So sorry for the confusion there. I was trying to figure out what all I was showing, and that's me being extra. I think I'm done actually for any live trades. This is just examples that were popping up. This one is totally going down, upward, I'm sorry. So I think I showed this so that you don't get involved in these because I think it started to curve down like it is here. So looks good. Yeah, so this one I stayed out of because it wasn't a safe bet. Which is fine. So let me back up. So these I don't. I want to just show these examples. I don't like getting involved in these all the time because if it's showing a good upward pitch like this, it's going to retrace some and then shoot back up. So it's hard to know when it would do that. And honestly, there's no good. I mean, everything's 50-50 since you either buy or sell. But the probability of this success is not great. Okay, only because you see before where you had here, let me erase this here. You see before where you had two nice sized red candles. I don't know where this third candle was when it activated, but as you can see, it for the next 5 seconds it's kind of neutral. So it could have worked, it could have not, who knows. It's not like clear downward direction, so it's not the best look. It could have did the same thing here. Now in this case it worked out, but that's what I'm saying. So if you're trading and you're blindly following it. Could have got this one, could have missed it, but then you made up for it right there. So what I'm trying to get at here is, ma'am, don't be the person, before I get off, do not be the person that is too scared to trade that you miss all the opportunities that you see that you could have made opportunities with, and then you jump in the ones that miss. Okay, so you if you are too scared to trade, you're going to miss the ones that you should have got, and you're going to get the ones that you missed, or that you should have missed, or that you missed, that you were supposed to miss. And then at the end of the day, it's supposed to, average out with you being more successful, but because you keep doubting yourself and doubting the entry, you are missing everything. So if you are still building confidence with this, just use lower money. It is no problem. Like I showed y'all that one video, it was terrible, but $5, $6, $7 entries. I think I made it up to 10 or 12 that one time. Like that's hard, but if I can do it, and I think a lot of that I was stepping on my toes, just pressing button, doing accidents and having accidents and all that, but that was less than 2 hours of trade to make $100 just doing $5, and that's really me considering me doing stupid trades. So if you remember, I told you guys, like, man, I shouldn't even did this one, but I did it anyway, or I clicked this button accidentally because I was tired. It was almost 11 or 12 o'clock or something. So if you're uncomfortable, just use smaller amounts, man. Use smaller amounts. I know you can't pull the funds if you don't have at least $100 in there, but it can carry over to the next day. All right, so if you're not really confident in this, the way that I do, like I said, I give myself 3 chances. Okay, um, so you see me trading with 30 right now. So that means with my account, I put in 70, right? So I have 2 chances to lose $60. And then so technically speaking, I don't start off with 30. I'll start off with, I warm up. So I'll start off with 15, 15, give myself a free 30, right? And then I do my 30s. Okay, so if I'm rusty, if it's early, I'm not doing right, okay, I blow one trade over technically three right away, right? But you give yourself that extra cushion so that you can I mean, you got to control what you lose, man. Like at the end of the day, like you're gonna have great days. Yeah, you can make thousands of dollars doing this, but you can lose it too. And it's been points where, I was up 800 and I knocked it down to two, and I'm like, what the heck? And that's why I'm like, I'm not a fan of keeping, a lot in the account because I'll spend it. So now I'm like, I'm set on, man, withdraw daily, keep what my initial trade is, control the losses by not putting up a lot. So if I miss a day, I only lost $70 over the several hundred that I've earned, right? That's how you do this. And you can do it, okay? But it takes time, it takes practice. It really takes for you to understand the chart, and you could come up with your own system if you just look at what every chart is giving you. Okay, this chart is giving you all buy energy and it's giving you buy energy over a long period. So if you get into a stagnant area like that and you're getting a lot of buy energy and you say, look, I don't know how long it's going to stand to buy, but from what I'm seeing, I can at least do like a minute or 30 seconds. You count it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right there. All right, you would have obviously got it. Okay, it doesn't matter. Like I say, you're never going to enter in at the perfect spot. So always give yourself that extra one or two to be like, okay, count from there. If I'm doing a sale, how much time will I have to do that? Okay, so if I do a sale, this is kind of where the sale peaks, and I would probably enter in here. So now oops, I have 1, 5, 10, 15. Less than 20 seconds. Not worth trying on the sale. So let me think of a buy again. So if you do buy, sky's the limit. So like each chart is going to give you different things, and until you understand that and adapt your method to that, like this could be easy. It doesn't have to be hard, but you have to be able to get what's given to you. Okay, don't use one approach for every chart because the chart might not be telling you that hey, you should do this. Okay, so this chart is telling buy. So if this was going the other way, I would have jumped in, but it never did. It just continued to go downward. So until I get some action showing more downward energy, I'm staying out of it. Right. So until next time, like, subscribe, enjoy the video. I'll try to get more of these, but hopefully this is real clear. The first few I showed you are like really ideally what you're looking for. But again, that's going to be prior to 1 o'clock, really. Like 11 to 1 o'clock is like a good time to trade, where it's nice sizes and it's kind of consistent. 8, 9, 10 o'clock could be a little wild. Later in the day can look like this, where it's a little bit slower. You may find opportunities, but yeah, just like I said, adapt. All right, trade under the demo initially until you are really comfortable knowing, hey, this is my trade time, and based on my trade time, this is going to be my best strategy. Okay, and understand weekends are different. So please, if you're trading on the weekends, don't start off trading live on the weekends either. Trade on demo on the weekends and take it through the points of the period of the day. Because if you're doing well and you got it figured out, you can knock all this out in 30 minutes or less if you're just trying to do fast, successful trades. If if you're trying to like just keep trading for the sake of trading, I mean, I guess you got all day, but you got to know when to stop. Do not be that person that's like, I'm going to make $1,000 and I'm just trading $50 because you are going to set yourself up to make a lot of money and then get burnt out and force it because you got that dangling fruit. Okay. So until next time, friends, like I said, like, subscribe, share the video. Good luck.